Streets of Rage 2 is one of the best beat-em-ups ever made. It is arguably the best beat-em-up ever made. I mean, if it comes down to it, in the pound-for-pound best beat-em-up ever, I would say it's a close fight between Streets of Rage 2 and Golden Axe 2, and in that context, it can go either way. Me personally, I'd go with Streets of Rage 2, just for how much I played this game as a kid. Me and my friends played this game together, you know, before online, where you could just, you know, be laying in your bed in your underwear and you could be playing, you know, Modern Warfare with all your friends from school. Back then, you actually had to go to each other's houses and sit there on the floor. And a lot of times, games didn't have more than 2 players, so a few of your friends would have to wait their turn. Yeah. That was the 90s, and you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. But let me tell you about how much me and my friends played Streets of Rage 2. We played the shit out of Streets of Rage 2. We did nothing but play Streets of Rage 2. When there was like a new game, after playing Streets of Rage 2 for like years, there's like a new game coming out. We would play this new game. We'd be excited at first. We'd all get together, come to each other's houses. We'd play it for maybe, I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes, and then we'll be like, you know what, we feel like a little Streets of Rage 2, and then we just forget about this brand new, spanking, awesome game that came out, and just replay Streets of Rage 2 because it was that good. And it was the same thing with Golden Axe games, but Streets of Rage 2 really had a special place in my childhood. It was awesome. The music, the fighting, everything about this game is spectacular. Now, to put Streets of Rage 2 into context, and to really do the game justice, we have to look at every aspect of the game, and every aspect is spectacular. Even the story. You don't expect a beat-em-up story to be spectacular, but in its own way, it is. One of your friends, a person from Streets of Rage 1, is kidnapped by this evil kingpin, and it's your job to traverse the dangerous 90s streets of this game to get him back. Now, why is this story so awesome? Well, it just has that awesome 90s feel to it. It's like every 90s fighting detective movie ever made. This could star Jean-Claude Van Damme or Wesley Snipes in a duster walking around the streets, beating guys up in bars, and it could be a movie. It's just the perfect equivalent to what like a B action movie in the 90s was. And combine that with the kind of smooth, relaxed jazz techno music, it's a perfect 90s experience. Now, the characters. There are 4 to choose from. You have Skate, and he's really fast, and he can jump really well, and his technique isn't bad, but his power and stamina are pretty lacking. There's Blaze, and pound for pound, she's the best character in the game because she's well-rounded in everything. Then there's Axel, he's got good power and technique, and then there's Max, who's really slow, but is the strongest character. He's the Hulk, and that's who I always wanted to play as when we were kids playing this game. Max the Hulk is a beast. What he lacks in speed, he more than makes up for in pure, unadulterated power. And power is crucial. Like, killing one enemy in one combination of attacks without him having to get back up and having to basically beat him up again is crucial in this game. Max makes the game basically a lot faster if you really want to get through the game fast, because he will kill enemies by beating them up once, whereas smaller characters like Skate or the prostitute woman, the characters that you're fighting, they'll just keep getting back up, and you'd have to beat them up again. So he was my favorite, but he wasn't the best. Let me go through all the characters and give their strengths and weaknesses. We started with Max, like I said, slow but incredibly powerful. Now let's move on to Skate. Now, how can I put this delicately? Skate sucks and no one wanted to play as him. I don't know about your group of friends, but no one wants to play as a little kid on rollerblades in a goddamn beat-em-up. The best beat-em-up of all time, no less. Look, I'll give Skate this. He is tenacious. When he gets on top of an enemy with a grappling attack, he will just stay on the enemy like a demonic gremlin and just cipher the enemy's life. But all his attacks are incredibly weak. Like, he has hit an enemy a ton of times just to knock them out. And his speed, while it's great and all, it isn't that big of a deal when enemies take forever to kill. So me personally, and basically my entire group of friends as I was growing up, none of us wanted to play Skate. On top of him not being able to really hit too well, another problem with him is he's just not cool. Who wants to play as a little 8 or 10 or 12-year-old kid on rollerblades? No one! No one wants to play as a little kid on rollerblades. You want to play as a really hot chick, or a huge Hulk man, or that badass guy in a cut-off tee who can basically hit people with his fist on fire. I mean, that's cool. You don't want to play as a tiny little guy in rollerblades. You don't want to play a game where the character you're playing as is your little brother. No thank you. No thank you, Skate. And to be fair, I'll give another good thing about Skate's character. He does the best tackling attacks. Like, when you double tap forward and you press attack, all the characters tackle, and Skate's is probably the best one because you combine it with his speed and it's just a really agile tackle. But that's about it, and it doesn't really make up for the fact that his regular melee attacks suck, so I really don't want to play as Skate ever. Next is Axel, and most of my friends wanted to play as Axel, and I completely understand why. He looks like the prototype of a badass. You know, he wears those 12-ounce MMA gloves, and it's realistic. You know, you wouldn't see like a big hulking 8-foot-tall shirtless guy walking around the streets beating people up, but you could kind of fathom seeing a guy in worn-out jeans and MMA gloves walking around and really kicking people's ass with his amazing boxing technique. Axel has the best specials, so that's also one of the reasons people really picked him over others. But really, I see him as being style over substance. He doesn't hit as hard as Max, the big hulking brute, and he's not as well-rounded as the prostitute woman we're going to talk about after Axel. So I just don't care for him much. His specials are the best, but specials actually eat up your own life, and you know, losing your own life by performing attacks is kind of counterproductive, especially on hard difficulty or on normal difficulty in the later levels. So that's really how I feel about Axel. He's style over substance. He might look the part of the beat-em-up protagonist, but he's not the best character. And the best character is this woman right here. Blaze has a 2 for every skill, which means she's not great at everything, but she's good at everything. And that ends up being the best character trait of all, because she's very well-rounded. She can do everything well. She's just fast enough to move away from really dangerous enemy attacks. She's just hits hard enough to be able to beat up enemies in one combination and without them having to get back up. Of course, you have to have good timing for that. And she has very good specials. She has very good jumping attacks, like these somersaults, which are awesome. And yeah, she's pound for pound the best character. And also, of course, she looks super hot. She looks like a worn out prostitute that'll do anything to you for a bottle of beer. So yeah, she's probably the best character. She's easy on the eyes. She's got really great attacks. Every kind of attack she does well. And she's fast enough to be able to basically move away from enemy attacks almost as well as Skate. So yeah, she's the best. I don't really think that's my opinion. I think it's objectively true that because she is the most well-rounded character, she is, in fact, the best character. I mean, the woman can fucking break a chair and a table with one punch. That's fucking badass. Look at her beating up this dominatrix. This fight would be a lot better if they took their clothes off and started kissing. Oh, that dude flew into the kick. He's dead. Let's see an instant replay of that. That was just too badass. He was going like 70 miles an hour right face first into my legs. Man. His head should have flew off from that. That guy is dead. He is no more. He has ceased to be. As you've already been witnessing for the past 10 minutes, there is a ton of different attacks in Streets of Rage 2. There's grappling attacks, throwing attacks, weapons you can pick up, different kinds of suplexes, a whole bunch of different punches and flying kicks and just gliding kicks to the knee. It's just so many different attacks from 4 different characters. So it's just a plethora of different attacks. This really is the original mixed martial arts MMA game, because every kind of fighting style basically is present in this game. It's awesome. And that's why, well, this is probably a first in my channel's almost 5-year history, but I have to give Streets of Rage 2 a perfect 10 out of 10. This is a perfect video game. It is awesome. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, my friends. And I will be reviewing Golden Axe 2 in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. That's another game that's basically perfect. Toodles.